going to be mostly stress after removal of the bowel. Anyway, we'll see. The anaesthetics is in there. I suppose we can just make sure the body's recognising that and trying to get rid of it. Yeah. He's been trying juicing and liver cleansing for a long time to try to ease the pain of the ulcerative colitis.
Yeah.
Sometimes stuff is just really stubborn. Okay. Okay, so. Okay. Do we need an affirmation in there about wanting to heal? We do. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, so it's not showing up health. Okay, so it's more specifically getting in and supporting the body releasing toxins. So for whatever reason, it's got jammed into a way of not being able to move things along. Even with all the stuff that he's done, that's just crazy. Why? Okay, so there's a couple of things showing up here in relation to toxins. So let's just have a look. I safely release all toxins within my systems. And hold. Is there psychological reversal? Want, need, think, safe, believe, deserve, trust, safe. It is safe to let go of this problem. Hold. It is safer to keep these problems. Hold. Okay. I remove all pollution from my energy fields and I replace it with infinite filtered love. Hold. Want, need, think, safe, believe, deserve, trust. It's safe again. It's safe to let go of this problem. Hold. It is safer to keep this problem. Hold. So the amygdala emotion is escape, submission, free, so the body would rather run away than deal with the toxins. And when you've been doing like everything you've been doing over the last years to help to get rid of the toxins, if we're moving it and it's not actually leaving the body, sometimes we're just shifting toxins and they can be going somewhere else in the body. It's like when people sit in saunas and they sweat like crazy, but they're not drinking enough water to actually eliminate it. They can just move toxins from one area to another. And depending on the energy or the strength or the charge of the toxin you're releasing, if you're not getting enough antioxidants or basically the right combination of things to sop up those toxins and take them out of the system, they can just get jammed somewhere else, the liver or the bowel or the kidneys or the, cysts in the body, any lumps and bumps, the fat tissue. Yeah, there's fear, threat, danger in relation to releasing toxins. But because ulcerative colitis can be such a painful condition, consciously your brain would be hoping not to be detoxing, because detoxing possibly means pain in a subconscious part of your brain. Do we need anything else in there? Okay, so I'll just put that aside. Okay. And I am happy, healthy, and well. And hold. Hold. Okay. Hold. 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 Yeah, okay. So there's a hidden deep survival pattern there. This is no surprise after an operation, because you can imagine under anaesthetics very regularly the body goes, holy moly, what are they doing to me? So because even though you're asleep when you're having an operation, your unconscious brain, or your unconscious brain knows exactly what's going on. So that part of the brain goes, what are they doing to me? And there's real fear in there. So it's a deep hidden survival pattern, which means your unconscious brain is trying to hide it from you, and it's creating some real fear, threat, danger. Blowing the base chakra, not feeling safe and grounded. Okay, where do I need to go? EMC, MNC, PBSS. PBSS. That's the sensory nervous system. So it's the nervous system that's to do with touch and feel and taste and smell. So when we've been in pain for a long time, our nervous system gets primed for stress, so it doesn't want any more sensation going on than what it's already got. There's fear of any further sensation, so that's an amygdala point. Okay. So the anterior cingulate gyrus, this is a part of the brain that it's when we pick on ourselves for not being perfect under stress. And when you've been doing the right thing with diet and juicing and all sorts of things over the years, and you haven't got the result you're after, part of that brain is going to go, I'm worthless, I'm a failure. You just need to let go of all that and move forward to the next thing. But this part of the brain just niggles away at us, making us feel like we just didn't achieve what we were hoping to achieve. But what ends up happening is that it can make us either totally not look after ourselves, or it makes us obsessive about looking after ourselves. Neither of one is particularly the best, because if you're obsessive, sometimes people forget to live life, while that's going on. So this part of the brain sets up all sorts of compulsions and obsessions, and when it's really active, it's creating frustration. So that's frustration and anger. So there's some frustration in there that you didn't get the result that you were after. Once again, we're in an unconscious pattern of the brain that is trying to protect you from doing something down the track again that's going to cause any pain or punishment to you. Okay, now the next little area showing up is the subclausal gyrus. This is the one that has the tendency, when things go wrong, to slip into that sort of depression or feeling listless or unable to get motivated. So it's a lack of serotonin, dopamine. Like, you've still got all your small intestine, I assume, so you should still have the capacity to make serotonin. And I'm not sure whether you're exercising yet or whether you can, but obviously exercise and movement, yoga, meditation, those sort of things all help to activate serotonin and dopamine in the brain. So if you can't exercise, there's lots of mind work you can do. Okay, so do we need a diffusion correction? It's just sort of hit a halt. Correction, ESR oscillation chakra essence. So do we need bark, bush or bush? Okay. So this one is Southern Cross. It's for it's just for energy, where you just have those moments where you go, why me? When it gets really bad, it can become a real victim mentality. So we don't want that to take hold. 3 drops, Shelby. Beautiful. Okay, next little area showing up is the cerebellar vermis. That's a part of the brain that when it shows up, it's because the emotions aren't matching what's going on. So sometimes you're having a day, you don't know why you're feeling like crap, but it's because there's stuff in the unconscious part of the brain is controlling what you're going through in the now. So it doesn't want you to say relax and be happy if you're going to do something damaging. So it sort of ends up really impacting on the way that we live our life. So cerebellar vermis, Pons GB15, CB24. Okay, so now we're on to the next little part of the circuit, which is the reticular activating system. The RAS controls what hormones you release when something new happens in your world. So at the moment, because you've been through such trauma over the years, first with the UC and then with the cancer, it's like your nervous system has gone, because it's activating noradrenaline, so your nervous system's going, holy crap, life is never going to be easy again, and it's switching down your serotonin, making it harder to relax and be happy, because your nervous system knows that if you relax and be happy for too long, you're going to get eaten by a tiger. So it needs to go, no, don't do that. That would be a bad thing. Sadness, despondency, depression. And hold out? Okay. Yeah. So anesthetics on their own can do several things, which is why stuff like the Brock shots and zeolite and stuff like that is so important. The anesthetics combined with receptors in the gut and make it hard to release enzymes, so it makes it harder to digest what we're eating, but it can also stop the ability for us to, so anesthetics combined with your B12 receptors, and if we don't pull the anesthetic out of our gut, then it can stay in the gut lining and stop us from absorbing B12 from our food. So because you've already got impaired absorption, that's something to think about at some stage. Is usually it takes, depending on the amount of anesthetics you've taken, sometimes it takes about 4 to 6 weeks of 4,000 micrograms a day of B12. So obviously your blood tests will show big B12 levels, but they often don't check free B12, which is the amount that's circulating, not bound to toxins. So B12, but you need a big dose. So 4,000 micrograms is equivalent to 2 B12 injections a day. So it's a chunky dose, but what it does is reactivates the factor you need in order to absorb B12 from your food if you take that dose for some time. If you take B12 injections, you never actually reactivate that ability to absorb B12 from your foods if you've still got the anaesthetics stored. Because we absorb most of our B12 either side of our appendix. Yeah, so basically your appendix, like maybe 2-3 inches either side of their appendix, is the core areas where we absorb B12. But yeah, the Brock shots help to clean up a lot of those receptors as well. Okay, so the next little area showing up in the periventricular survival system is the orbitofrontal cortex. This one's to do with conflicting emotional gear. Which is, and you can imagine, that's what happens with our body with health. You get a problem, you try to deal with it, you fail, you move on. You get another problem, you deal with it, you fail, you move on, and we end up getting this downward spiral in health. And it's hard to keep getting back up on the horse again and just keep on trying to look after yourself when things feel like they're going backwards. So this orbitofrontal cortex, it's waiting for logical and creative solutions to come forth from the brain. And there's like a gyrus that sits just in underneath the logical and creative hemispheres of the brain. So this little part of the brain is waiting for logic and emotional gear to take hold so that you can make a sensible decision about moving forward. And obviously with cancer, there's a big genetic component to it in many cases. And the 3 parts of the brain that are to do with genetic connections to up to 7 generations are the subcolossal gyrus, orbitofrontal cortex, and the anterior cingulate gyrus. And all 3 of those have shown up with you. So potentially there's some energetic, genetic connection that unfortunately has been played out in your life at the moment. Anything else in the PBSS? EMC, MMC, PBSS. Okay, so where do I go now? Okay, so I'm going into the immune system, so I'll check it in the clear first. So minus any supplements, minus any medications. And hold, 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 hold. So these are the master immune system points, hold. So without all the work you've been doing, the immune system stuff would be pretty flattened, just wouldn't have a lot of oomph. And of course, ulcerative colitis being an autoimmune disease, it's the immune system attacking the large intestine. So, and that can be because there's something going on down in there, like a hidden infection or some sort of pollutant or toxin that's in the gut wall that the immune system was trying to go and attack. Can of course be things like parasites as well. beautiful. And the base chakra, okay. So what I'll do next is make sure that the body is recognizing the anesthetics, so that, because if the body doesn't recognize it, it's not going to do anything whatsoever to try to pull them out. And also because it's activated a survival, so the operation potentially has activated a survival pattern in you, a deep hidden survival pattern. I want to make sure that fear, threat, danger aren't shutting down your immune system again. We need your immune system up and running, because fear, stress can shut down your immune system. We just want to make sure that's not happening. Okay, so okay, so in relation to anesthetics. And hold, okay. Hold, right. So once again, without any of your supplements, the anesthetics aren't being dealt with properly. And this gets the body to recognize them, because not only did the major immune pathways show up, but this little guy up here is called the energy mismatch points. And when it shows up, the body doesn't know whether something is good or bad in the body. So these are a bunch of acupuncture points that activate the immune system into recognizing something. So we're getting a whole bunch of meridians, so organ meridian combos, to recognize the substance anesthetics. So it's less likely to get stuck somewhere. In relation to anesthetics, and hold. So I'm imagining there were lots of years building up to both the ulcerative colitis and the cancer. So I'm just going to ask the body around any and all past use of antibiotics. Hold. Because every time we take anesthetics, it can destroy the little villi in our intestines. So we end up getting more and more munted villi, which means we're not releasing as many enzymes to break down our foods properly, so we're more likely to develop allergies and intolerances and things like that. There's a particular strain of probiotic called the Metagenics brand. There's lots of brands out there. I like the Metagenics personally. I trust them quite well. The particular one I like of theirs is called Ultraflora LGG Fort, and every capsule's got 20 million or billion maybe. But it's a huge dose of the LGG strain of bacteria, which is really well known to regrow the villi. They actually did a huge study, like 30 years on school kids, where they had LGG in the milk, and it was one of the, sorry, I'm from Australia, it's one of the Scandinavian countries, the tall, blonde, beautiful people countries. And they did a study over 30 years because there was LGG in the milk supply. So they had all sorts of data to look at things like allergies and asthma and all sorts of things. So when they first presented the study in Australia about 10 years ago, and we got LGG as a probiotic supplement, like all sorts of things started to pick up, things like, say, asthma for kids and eczema for kids and dermatitis, and things that until that point, it was really steroids, and from the natural therapy perspective, it was just one more way we had to look after these kids without any side effects, which was great. Any and all strains of antibiotics. Hold. And I'm also assuming over the years there's been a lot of painkillers. So any and all NSAIDs, any and all painkillers. Hold, 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 yeah, hold. Amygdala. And hold out. Okay. So there's also left to right amygdala isn't okay. So the amygdala is the part of the brain that when we're in fight, flight, stress, we whip into the amygdala and we grab out the closest stress pattern, anger pattern, rage pattern, punishment pattern that matches what we're going through, and it just relives an old pattern. So the amygdala is why we see a stick on the floor and we're up on the table in a heartbeat if we have a paranoia about it. So the left and right amygdala of yours aren't communicating as well as we should, and it's a combination of rage, anger, frustration, as well as the pleasure rewards being centered. So it's like your nervous system has just been through too much and it's just gone, no. Don't want to think logically and emotionally about this, I'm over it. And hold, beautiful. Good. Okay. And once again, going back and rechecking the adrenals and survival patterns. Okay, adrenals, hold, beautiful. Survival, deep survival, hidden deep survival, beautiful, that's better. Base chakra was blown, we'll just check it. And hold, no, that's beautiful. And the affirmations. I safely release all toxins within my systems. Hold. Want, need, think, safe, believe, deserve, trust. I'll just double check safety from before. It is safe to let go of these toxins. Hold. It is safer to keep these toxins. Hold. Beautiful. And the other one was, I remove all pollution from my energy fields and I replace it with filtered infinite love. And hold. Double checking psychological reversal. Want, need, think, safe, believe, deserve, trust. Yep, that's good. Once again, just double checking. It is safe to release it's safer to release these toxins. Hold. It is safer to keep these toxins. Hold. Beautiful. Okay, and I'll just quickly check all your major organs to make sure we don't need to, well, I'll check all your major organs. So stomach energy looks pretty good. Hold up for me. Hold up for me, beautiful. Large intestine needs a little help. Hold up for me. So even though you've hardly got any bowel left, hold up, you still have the meridian. So we've still got a gallbladder meridian if we have our gallbladder removed. So I'll check the valves as well. because this one won't even be there, but nonetheless, energetically, I'm going to sort of reset them all anyway. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Good. Let's see whether that's shimmied this energy along. Hold. Beautiful. And hold. Good. Small intestine is also doing okay, which is great. Okay. So I hope you feel some of the benefits from that, and I'll talk to you and your sis soon. Okay, bye.